Good afternoon, tourists. Tour de Force here. It's time for another band to cover on my Jam-O-Meter. After the amazing Fugazi, which had some great jams, I have high hopes for this next band, which is still around today. I'm of course talking about Faith No More, a band most well known for Epic, and for having Mike Patton as its main frontman. Sorry, Chuck Mosley, you're still great. Rest in peace. As said in the previous episode of this series, I'm gonna try my best to ignore the vocals, even if they are godlike. Let's see what Mike Borden, Billy Gold, Roddy Bottom, that's an unfortunate last name if it's pronounced Bottom, and the ever-shuffling amount of guitarists have to offer in terms of jams. Also, soft disclaimer, I'm not going to talk about the piano or the synths since I don't play the piano. Anyways, let's get into it. We have a lot of albums to go through. The start to Faith No More's journey is when they were called Faith No Man back in 1983, without Chuck and without Patton on vocals. This is very hard to jam to, mostly due to the fact that the instruments are lacking a little bit of clarity, and the music is very much rooted in post-punk, like Joy Division. It's okay to jam to on drums, because those are mostly audible, but the rest of the instruments are very poorly recorded, making it kind of hard to tell things apart. Overall, just meh, and probably the worst start to this jammability tier list. D tier this goes. We Care A Lot is a pretty bare-bones album to jam to. It still contains the classic title track, but the mixing and production just isn't there for making your jams really stand out in quality. Some of the songs also focus a little too much on the vocals. Keep in mind, this is also a pretty recent listen for me, so maybe I haven't had enough time to let the jams settle in. Either way though, this gets a C tier from me. Not a fan, I'm sorry. Introduce Yourself. A huge increase in quality from We Care A Lot. Introduce Yourself has way more jams to its name than the previous album. There are a bunch of great songs to jam to on this album, from faster disco all the way down to at least the remake of We Care A Lot. This one is definitely overlooked in terms of jamminess and in terms of overall quality as well. In terms of bass, it can be a little bit boring because a lot of the songs are just the same note over and over again. It works really well for the song, but it's just not that fun to jam to for me. The guitar can be kind of the same as well. It doesn't really have that much time to shine on this record. The drums though. I'm gonna put this in A tier for now. Maybe it'll decrease later, we'll see. The Real Thing. Now this is where Mike Patton comes into play, and the music starts to become a little bit more eclectic with different influences coming from different genres. For jamming, this has a lot of variety to it compared to the albums before it. From Out of Nowhere is very much a metal ballad, Epic is a jammable rap metalish type of ballad, and then we also have other songs to pick from like Surprise You're Dead, The Real Thing, and Woodpeckers from Mars, which all have different sounds and jams. Maybe even Zombie Eaters, but that song sounds a little bit too much like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Maybe I shouldn't say that. If you also listen to the bonus tracks version, you get a sick cover of War Pigs, which is an extra point automatically. The only problem with The Real Thing is that it really fails on the mixing and mastering really. The songs sound extremely thin, but maybe that can help you differentiate between the instruments. This is going in A tier below Introduce Yourself on the jammable tier list. Angel Dust, the ultimate jam through and through all the way to the end. This album is pure art to jam to, with so much variety to choose from that you'll never get tired from practicing to this beast. We have the alternative metal of Land of Sunshine, with a 3/4 time signature opener, Caffeine with its amazing songwriting and climax, RV for a big change in tonality, and a Mario sounding ass melody, as well as songs like Malpractice and Crack for a more industrial sort of vibe. What a bad song title, by the way. We also end with Midnight Cowboy, which is another big shift in tonality. If you want to have a big repertoire of styles to jam to, it's it. It also ends with a cover of Easy, if you listen to the bonus tracks version of this album. Easy S tier, and will most likely be the most jammable on this tier list. Also, the album cover is very cute. I approve. King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime. This album has The Gentle Art of Making Enemies, Ricochet, Evidence, Get Out, and King for a Day on it. That's all that needs to be said to warrant this an easy S tier. This album is more raw compared to Angel Dust, but it still contains a good amount of variety and complex songwriting. The first half of this album is extremely jammy, and yet again, the drums kick ass. Like I said, another easy S tier, although I'm going to put it underneath Angel Dust on the jammability tier list. Very much a middle-of-the-road record in terms of jams. Album of the Year contains a lot of strands of the previous record, but doesn't have the same quality both production and songwriting-wise. It still contains a decent amount of variety, with songs such as Ashes to Ashes, Last Cup of Sorrow, She Loves Me Not, and Mouth to Mouth. But it's not as high quality for me personally. I don't see myself jamming to this one very much, but the fact it still has that variety doesn't make it a low tier score. Also, how did the production get worse? Or am I just getting stupider? Anyways, B tier this goes. I hate this album cover, but Soul Invictus seems to be the last Faith No More album, possibly indefinitely. Or maybe we'll get surprised by a new album in the next coming years. Oh my god, 2015 was almost a decade ago now. What the fuck? I can't even focus on rating this album. Where has time gone? C tier, and the final Faith No More album on this list. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. You know what? Since Faith No More's discography only consists of 7 albums, I'm gonna let another band trespass onto this list. Since they have pretty close ties in terms of personnel and sound, let's let Mr. Bungle onto this list. Mr. Bungle comes swinging in to intrude onto this tier list with the ever-amazing self-titled album that contains so many stellar songs for jamming to. It's really like a gift from heaven. Actually, on second thought, it's like a gift from hell, considering what most songs on the record are about. But that's part of the vocals, so they are ignorable on this list. This is also an encyclopedia of variety when it comes to different genres and styles to jam to. Just beware, these songs are very complex to learn, jumping from time signature to time signature, tempo to tempo, and genre to genre within seconds. Regardless, S tier right below Angel Dust, just barely on the jammy tier list. Disco Volante. Now hear me out, this is a C tier. Do not hunt me down and kill me for this opinion. I love this album, but the reason I give it this score is because it's just way too manic and hard to follow along with on any of the instrument.
Anyways, this album is in its own category above S tier. We'll call this SS tier.
California. Now, I originally wrote in the script that this was a B tier, but I think after talking to my friends that I love dearly, I'm gonna have to put this in SS tier as well. Mr. Bungle fans are an amazing bunch, aren't they? Well, that's all of the main Faith No More and Mr. Bungle albums. If you all enjoyed this video—
What about me?
Okay, fine. The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo is currently Mr. Bungle's final album, which is a thrash metal record with material that came out in 1986. Anyways, I don't really care for this one, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and give it a C tier, since it seems fun to play guitar, bass, and drums to if you like thrash metal. Okay, that's all for this list now officially. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this series. Thanks for watching everyone. Tour de Force out.